Zara sat quietly in her small room, listening to the sounds coming from the main hall. Tonight was different. Tonight, her stepmother was hosting one of her fancy parties again. Zara could hear voices laughing and talking, the gentle sound of crystal glasses touching each other, and music playing softly in the background. She pressed her ear against the cold wall and tried to imagine what was happening out there. In her mind, she could see the beautiful decorations her stepmother always put up for these events. She knew about the glowing flowers that changed colors, the floating lights that danced around the ceiling, and the fancy clothes everyone wore. She had touched these things before when no one was looking. But Zara would never see any of it with her own eyes. She had been born blind, and on her planet, this was considered something shameful. Her stepmother, Elena, made sure she knew this every single day. "Stay in your room tonight," Elena had told her earlier, her voice cold and sharp. "The important people from the city are coming. They don't need to know about you." Zara understood what this meant. To Elena, she was nothing more than an embarrassment, something to hide away from the world. The young woman touched the walls of her tiny room. It was so much smaller than the other rooms in their crystal house. While Elena lived in luxury, Zara had just enough space for a small bed, a table, and a few belongings. The walls were plain and cold, unlike the rest of the house that sparkled with beautiful crystals that grew naturally from their planet's unique soil. She remembered her father sometimes. He had died when she was very young, but she still remembered his warm hands and kind voice. He used to tell her stories about brave adventures and distant worlds. He never made her feel like she was broken or wrong. But when he died, everything changed. Elena had married her father for his money and position in their society. She never wanted a stepdaughter, especially not one who was blind. In their world, everything was about beauty and perfection. Their people loved bright colors, stunning light shows, and visual art. Being blind meant Zara could never truly be part of their culture, or so Elena believed. Over the years, Elena had become more and more cruel. She gave Zara just enough food to survive, clothes that were old and worn, and made her do all the cleaning and cooking. Zara learned to move around the house by memory and touch. She became very good at sensing where things were, almost like she had a special power that helped her know what was around her. But Elena saw this as weird and strange, not special. As the party continued, Zara heard Elena's voice rise above the others. She was probably telling everyone about her latest achievements, her beautiful house, and her important friends. Elena never mentioned having a stepdaughter. Zara lay down on her small bed and pulled the thin blanket over herself. She had learned not to cry anymore. Tears wouldn't change anything. Instead, she listened to the world around her. Outside her window, she could hear the night sounds of their planet. Strange, beautiful creatures sang songs that made her heart feel peaceful. The wind moved through the crystal trees, making them ring like tiny bells. These sounds were her friends. They kept her company when Elena locked her away. Sometimes Zara dreamed about leaving this place. She imagined walking through the glowing forests she had heard about, feeling the warm ground under her feet and breathing the sweet air that smelled like flowers and rain. She dreamed of finding a place where being different wasn't something to be ashamed of, but she was trapped. She had nowhere to go, no money, and no friends. Elena made sure she never met anyone who might help her or care about her. The next morning brought bad news, though Zara didn't know it yet. Elena burst into her room earlier than usual, her footsteps quick and angry. "Get up," Elena said. "We need to talk." Zara sat up, confused. Elena rarely spoke to her unless she was giving orders or complaining about something. "The government is planning some kind of safety drill," Elena continued. "They want everyone to be ready to leave quickly if there's an emergency. Something about alien visitors coming to our planet." Zara's heart jumped. "Aliens?" Real visitors from other worlds? She had always wondered if there were other people out there among the stars, people who might be different like her. Elena's voice turned strange, almost excited in a mean way. During the drill, everyone will be very busy. People might get separated, lost. It would be very easy for someone to disappear. The way Elena said this made Zara feel cold inside. There was something dangerous in her stepmother's voice, something that scared her. Over the next few days, Elena acted differently. She seemed to be planning something, making secret calls and talking in hushed voices to people Zara didn't recognize. Zara tried to listen, but Elena was being very careful. Then the day of the drill came. Elena woke Zara up very early, before the sun had risen. "Come on," she said, grabbing Zara's arm roughly. "We're going to the meeting point in the forest. Everyone has to be there." This was strange. Elena had never included Zara in anything like this before, but Zara followed, using her walking stick to feel the path ahead of her. They walked for a long time through the crystal forests. Zara could feel the energy of the living crystals around them, humming with a life force that most people couldn't sense. She could hear water running somewhere nearby and small creatures moving through the crystal branches above them. "Wait here," Elena said suddenly, stopping. "I need to check something ahead. Don't move." Zara stood still, listening to Elena's footsteps getting farther and farther away. She waited and waited, but Elena didn't come back. Hours passed. The sun grew warmer, then started to get cool again. Other people's voices could be heard in the distance, but they were moving away from where Zara stood. She called out, but no one answered. Finally, as the day turned to evening, Zara understood the terrible truth. Elena had left her there on purpose. This wasn't an accident or a mistake. Her stepmother had used the confusion of the drill to abandon her in the wilderness, hoping she would never find her way home. As darkness fell, Zara realized she was completely alone for the first time in her life. But instead of giving up, she felt something new growing inside her. It was scary, but it was also something like freedom. She began to walk, using all the skills she had learned over the years. Her fingers traced the crystal trees, feeling for the warm spots that meant safer paths. Her ears picked up the sounds of water and gentle creatures. Her nose found the sweet scents that led toward areas where she might find food and shelter. For the first time in her life, Zara was making her own choices. She didn't know what would happen next, but she knew one thing for sure. She would never go back to Elena's house. She would rather face the unknown dangers of the forest than spend one more day being treated like she was worthless. As she walked deeper into the glowing wilderness, Zara didn't know that her real adventure was just beginning. She didn't know that somewhere in these same forests, someone from another world was about to change her life forever. Zara had been walking through the crystal forest for 2 days when her strength finally gave out. Her feet were sore and bleeding, her throat was dry, and she hadn't eaten anything except some berries she had found along the way. The berries tasted safe, but they weren't enough to keep her going. She collapsed near a small stream, her walking stick falling from her tired hands. The sound of running water was comforting, but she was too weak to even crawl toward it. Everything hurt, and for the first time since Elena had left her, Zara wondered if she was going to die out here alone. The crystal trees around her hummed with their strange energy, and she could feel their warmth even though she couldn't see their beautiful glow. Small creatures moved in the branches above, making soft chirping sounds that usually made her feel peaceful. But now, even these friendly sounds seemed far away. As she lay there too tired to move, Zara heard something different. Footsteps. But they weren't like the light, quick steps of her people. These footsteps were heavier, more solid. They belonged to someone much bigger than anyone from her world. Fear shot through her tired body. What if it was some dangerous animal? What if it was someone who would hurt her? She tried to sit up, but her body wouldn't listen. The footsteps stopped very close to her. She could hear breathing, slow and careful. Then a voice spoke, and it was unlike anything she had ever heard before. "Oh my goodness," the voice said. It was deep and warm, speaking in a language she somehow understood but had never heard before. "Are you hurt?" The voice belonged to a man. She could tell that much. But he sounded so different from the men of her world. His voice was gentler, more concerned. Most importantly, he didn't sound afraid of her or disgusted by her. "Please don't be scared," the voice continued. "My name is Dr. Chen. I'm not going to hurt you. I just want to help." Zara tried to speak, but only a small sound came out. Her throat was too dry. "You need water," Dr. Chen said. She heard him moving around and then the sound of water being poured into something. "Here, let me help you sit up." Gentle hands touched her shoulders, helping her lean against something soft. Then a cup was pressed to her lips. The water was cool and clean, the best thing she had tasted in days. She drank, slowly, feeling strength return to her body bit by bit. "That's better," Dr. Chen said kindly. "You're safe now. I'm a scientist from Earth. Do you know what Earth is?" Zara shook her head weakly. She had heard stories about other worlds, but she never thought she would meet someone from one of them. "Earth is a planet very far from here," he explained. "I came here with my team to study your beautiful world. We've been here for a few weeks, learning about the crystal forests and all the amazing life here." As her strength returned, Zara became more aware of this strange man who had found her. She could smell something different about him, not bad, just different from her own people. His breathing was deeper, his heartbeat slower and stronger. When he moved, she could tell he was much taller and broader than anyone she knew. "Can you tell me your name?" Dr. Chen asked gently. "Zara," she whispered, her voice still weak. "That's a beautiful name," he said, and she could hear the smile in his voice. "Zara, I noticed that your eyes... Are you unable to see?" Most people asked this question with pity or disgust in their voices. Elena always talked about Zara's blindness like it was something dirty and shameful. But Dr. Chen asked like he was simply trying to understand, not judge. "Yes," Zara said quietly. "I was born this way." "I see," Dr. Chen said thoughtfully. "But you made it this far through the forest on your own. That's incredible. You must have amazing other senses." No one had ever called her abilities amazing before. Zara felt something warm grow in her chest, something she had never felt before. It took her a moment to realize it was pride. "How did you get so far from the city?" Dr. Chen asked. "Are you lost?" Zara hesitated. She didn't want to tell this kind stranger about Elena's cruelty. It was too embarrassing, too painful. I was separated from my family during a drill," she said, which was sort of true. Dr. Chen was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Well, you're not alone anymore. My research station isn't far from here. You can rest there while we figure out how to get you home safely." "Research station?" Zara asked. "It's like a small house where my team and I live while we study your planet," Dr. Chen explained. "We have food, clean water, comfortable beds, and medical supplies. You look like you could use all of those things." The idea of a safe place to rest sounded like a dream to Zara. But she was still scared. What if this was a trick? What if Dr. Chen was lying to her? As if he could sense her fear, Dr. Chen said, "I know this must be frightening. Meeting someone from another world, being lost in the forest. But I promise you, Zara, I only want to help. You don't have to trust me right away, but please let me give you food and a safe place to sleep tonight." There was something in his voice that made Zara believe him. Maybe it was because he had already helped her when he could have just walked away. Maybe it was because he talked to her like she was a real person, not something broken that needed to be hidden. "Okay," she said softly. Dr. Chen helped her stand up, supporting her when she swayed. "My station is about a 10-minute walk from here. Can you make it that far?" "I think so," Zara said. As they walked slowly through the forest, Dr. Chen described everything they passed. He told her about the way the crystal trees glowed with soft blue and purple light, how small, colorful creatures flew between the branches, like living jewels, and how the path sparkled with tiny crystals that crunched softly under their feet. "Your world is the most beautiful place I've ever seen," Dr. Chen said, "and I've traveled to many planets." "You have?" Zara asked, amazed. "Oh, yes," he said, "but none of them were like this. The way everything here seems to be alive with light and energy, it's magical." Zara smiled for the first time in days. She had always felt the magic of her world through her other senses, but she had never met anyone who appreciated it the way she did. When they reached the research station, Dr. Chen helped her inside. The building felt different from the crystal. Houses she was used to. It was warmer, more solid, and it smelled like strange but not unpleasant things. "Let me get you some proper food," Dr. Chen said, settling her into a comfortable chair. "And then we can look at those cuts on your feet." As he moved around preparing food, Zara listened to every sound. This man from another world was taking care of her like she was someone important, someone worth helping. He didn't seem to care that she was blind or that she was different. For the first time in her life, Zara began to wonder if maybe, just maybe, there was a place in the universe where she could belong. Over the next few days, Zara discovered what it felt like to be treated with real kindness. Dr. Chen made sure she had warm, delicious meals 3 times a day. He gave her clean, soft clothes to wear and a comfortable bed in a room that actually had a window. For the first time in years, Zara fell asleep feeling safe and cared for. But the biggest surprise came on her 3rd day at the research station. Dr. Chen had been running some tests on a small sample of her blood, trying to understand her unique biology. "Zara," he said, sitting down beside her with excitement in his voice, "I think I might have some good news for you." "What kind of good news?" she asked, though she couldn't imagine what could be better than already having food and safety. "I've been studying your medical condition," Dr. Chen explained. "The reason you can't see isn't because your eyes are damaged. It's because the pathways in your brain that process vision never developed properly when you were born." Zara listened carefully, not really understanding but sensing that this was important. "On Earth, we've learned how to fix problems like this," Dr. Chen continued. "With the right treatment, there's a very good chance I could help you see for the first time in your life." The words hit Zara like a thunderbolt. See? Actually see with her own eyes? She had dreamed about this sometimes, but it had always seemed impossible. Are you sure?" she whispered. "I can't promise it will work completely," Dr. Chen said honestly. "But I'm very hopeful. The treatment would take several weeks, and we'd have to do it slowly and carefully. But yes, I really think we can give you sight." Tears started flowing down Zara's face. She had never cried happy tears before, and the feeling was overwhelming. "Why would you do this for me?" she asked. "You barely know me." Dr. Chen was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Because everyone deserves the chance to see the beauty of the world, and because you're special, Zara. In the few days I've known you, you've shown me things about your planet that I never would have discovered on my own." This was true. Zara's incredible hearing had helped Dr. Chen locate several new species of creatures that were too shy to come out during the day. Her ability to sense energy patterns had led them to crystal formations that his instruments couldn't detect. Her knowledge of which plants were safe and which were dangerous had probably saved his team from making serious mistakes. You see, the World in ways that sighted people can't, Dr. Chen continued. That's a gift. If I can give you regular vision, too, imagine how much more you'll be able to experience. The treatment began the next day. Dr. Chen explained that he would use a combination of medicine and special technology to slowly train her brain to process visual information while also fixing the problems with her eyes themselves. It might feel strange at first, he warned her. Your brain has never dealt with light and images before. We'll start very slowly. The first session was scary but amazing. Dr. Chen placed a gentle device over her eyes and turned it on. Suddenly, Zara's world exploded with something completely new. It wasn't exactly seeing yet, more like feeling brightness and darkness in ways she had never experienced. What you're experiencing right now is light, Dr. Chen explained. Just simple light and shadow. How does it feel? It's incredible, Zara breathed. So this is what you've been trying to describe to me? This is just the beginning, Dr. Chen said with a smile she couldn't see yet, but could hear in his voice. Each day, the treatments got a little more advanced. Zara began to make out shapes, blurry and unclear, but definitely there. The first time she saw the outline of Dr. Chen's face, even though it was just a fuzzy shadow, she started crying again. During the weeks of treatment, Zara and Dr. Chen spent hours together every day. He would describe the colors and details of everything around them, while she shared her own way of understanding the world. She taught him how to listen for the different sounds that meant rain was coming, or how to feel the energy changes that warned of dangerous areas in the forest. You know, Dr. Chen said one afternoon as they sat outside the research station, I've learned more about your planet in these few weeks than I did in months of regular research. You're an amazing teacher. Zara felt that warm feeling in her chest again. No one had ever called her a teacher before. Elena had always made her feel stupid and useless. I like learning from you too, Zara said. The way you explain things about science and other worlds, it makes me feel like the universe is so much bigger and more wonderful than I ever imagined. As her vision slowly improved, Zara began to see colors for the first time. The first color she clearly recognized was the gentle blue glow of the crystal trees at sunset. She stared at it for almost an hour, unable to believe that such beauty had been around her all her life. Is this what you see every day? She asked Dr. Chen in amazement. Every day, he confirmed. But seeing it through your eyes, watching you experience it for the first time, makes it even more beautiful to me. But their peaceful routine was about to be shattered. One morning, as Zara was getting better at making out the details of Dr. Chen's face during their daily treatment, his communication device started beeping urgently. Dr. Chen, came a voice from the device. We're getting reports of someone looking for a missing girl in the crystal forests. A woman claims her stepdaughter ran away during the emergency drill last month. Zara's blood turned cold. Elena. She had found out that Zara was still alive. The woman is demanding to speak with you, the voice continued. She says she has legal rights to the girl and wants her returned immediately. She's bringing official documents from the city. Dr. Chen looked at Zara with concern. Zara, is there something you haven't told me about your family? Zara's hands started shaking. All the peace and happiness of the past weeks suddenly felt fragile, like it could disappear at any moment. She's not really my family, Zara whispered. Elena is my stepmother, but she doesn't care about me. She left me in the forest on purpose. She wanted me to disappear. Dr. Chen's expression changed from confusion to anger. She abandoned you? On purpose? She's always hated me because I'm blind, Zara explained, tears starting to fall. She thinks I'm an embarrassment. When she finds out you've been helping me, that you might be able to fix my eyes, she'll be furious. Well, she's going to have to deal with being furious, Dr. Chen said firmly, because I'm not letting anyone take you away from here if you don't want to go. But what if she has legal documents? Zara asked. What if she can force me to go back? Dr. Chen stood up, and even with her still blurry vision, Zara could see the determination in his posture. Then we'll fight those documents, he said. You're not a piece of property, Zara. You're a person with the right to choose your own life. And if she really did abandon you like you say, then she gave up any claim to be your guardian. As they heard vehicles approaching in the distance, Zara realized that her new life was about to be tested. Would Dr. Chen really stand up to Elena? Would her stepmother be able to drag her back to that terrible life of isolation and cruelty? For the first time in weeks, Zara was afraid again, but this time she wasn't alone. The sound of approaching vehicles grew louder, and Zara's heart started beating so fast she thought it might burst. Through her newly healing eyes, she could see blurry shapes moving toward the research station, even though her vision was still not perfect. She could make out enough to know that several people were coming. Dr. Chen placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. Remember, you're not alone this time, he said quietly. Whatever happens, I'm going to stand with you. The vehicles stopped outside, and Zara heard car doors slamming. Then came the sound she had dreaded hearing ever since she left that terrible house. Elena's voice, sharp and angry as always. Where is she? Elena demanded as she approached the research station. Where is my stepdaughter? Dr. Chen stepped outside, first, with Zara close behind him. For the first time in her life, she could actually see her stepmother's face, even if it was still a bit blurry. What she saw made her stomach turn. Elena's expression was cold and mean, with eyes that looked at Zara like she was something disgusting. You must be Elena, Dr. Chen said calmly. I'm Dr. Chen. Zara has told me a lot about you. I don't care who you are, Elena snapped. That girl belongs to me. She ran away during the emergency drill, and I've been worried sick about her. Zara almost laughed, but it came out as a sad sound instead. Worried sick? Elena had left her in the forest on purpose. Is that really what happened, Zara? Dr. Chen asked, looking at her with kind eyes that she could now see clearly for the first time. Elena's face changed when she heard this. Of course, that's what happened, she said quickly. Zara has always been confused. She makes up stories. You can't trust anything she says. But Zara was looking at Elena's face now, really seeing it, and she could tell that her stepmother was lying. Even with her limited vision, she could see the way Elena's eyes shifted around, the way her mouth twitched when she spoke. She's lying, Zara said, her voice stronger than it had ever been before. She left me in the forest on purpose. She wanted me to disappear forever. That's nonsense, Elena said, but her voice sounded nervous now. I would never do such a thing. Zara, stop telling these awful lies and come home right now. This is her home now, Dr. Chen said firmly. She's been living here as my research assistant, and she's been doing excellent work. Elena's eyes narrowed as she looked at Zara more carefully. What's different about her? She asked suspiciously. Something's changed. Dr. Chen has been helping my eyes, Zara said, feeling proud and scared at the same time. I can see now. Not perfectly yet, but I can see. The change in Elena's expression was terrible to watch. Instead of being happy that Zara could see, she looked furious and frightened. That's impossible, Elena said. She was born defective. There's no cure for what's wrong with her. There was nothing wrong with her that couldn't be fixed, Doctor, Chen said angrily. Zara's blindness was completely treatable. Any decent medical facility could have helped her years ago. Elena's face turned red. How dare you judge me? I did the best I could with a damaged child that wasn't even mine. Do you have any idea how hard it is to care for someone like her? Someone like her, Dr. Chen repeated, his voice getting louder. You mean someone intelligent, kind, and incredibly talented? Because that's what Zara is. She's a burden, Elena spat. Always has been. Her father left me stuck with her when he died, and I've had to pretend to care about her for years. Zara felt like she had been hit. Even though she had always known Elena didn't love her, hearing it said out loud like this was still painful. But then she looked at Dr. Chen's face and saw something that made her feel strong again. He was looking at Elena like she was the most disgusting person he had ever met. "You're the one with something wrong with you," Dr. Chen said to Elena. "Zara is amazing. In the weeks she's been here, she's helped my research more than my entire team did in months. She sees the world in ways that most people can't even imagine." "I don't care about your research," Elena said. "I have legal documents that prove she belongs to me. You have no right to keep her here." Elena pulled out some papers and waved them in the air. "These are signed by the city officials. They say I am her legal guardian until she turns 25. She has to come with me right now." Dr. Chen took the papers and looked at them carefully. Zara watched his face, trying to read his expression with her new but still limited sight. "These documents are real," Dr. Chen said slowly. "But they were signed before we knew that you abandoned her in the forest." "You can't prove that," Elena said with a mean smile. "It's her word against mine, and everyone knows she's not reliable." "Actually," came a new voice, "we can prove it." Everyone turned to see another member of Dr. Chen's research team walking toward them. Zara had met her before, a kind woman named Dr. Liu, who had been very friendly to her. "Dr. Liu?" Dr. Chen asked, confused. "I've been investigating this situation. Since we got the call this morning," Dr. Liu explained, "I contacted the officials who organized the emergency drill. Elena, you reported Zara as missing 3 hours before the drill even started." Elena's face went very pale. That's not true." "We have the official records," Dr. Liu continued. "You also asked specifically to be assigned to the most remote checkpoint, far from where most families were gathering. And several witnesses saw you leaving the forest alone, telling people that Zara had decided to stay behind." The lies were falling apart, and Elena knew it. She looked around desperately like a trapped animal. "Even if that's true," Elena said, her voice getting mean and desperate, "she still legally belongs to me, and I know people in the city government. They won't let some alien take away one of our citizens." "Zara is an adult," Dr. Chen said firmly, "and she has the right to choose where she wants to live and who she wants to live with." Elena laughed, but it was an ugly sound. "Choose? She's blind and stupid. She can't take care of herself." "I'm not blind anymore," Zara said, stepping forward. Her voice was shaking, but she was determined to speak up for herself. "And I'm not stupid. Dr. Chen has shown me that I'm actually very smart. I can learn things and help with important work." "You're nothing without me," Elena said cruelly. "You'll always be the broken girl that no one wants." "That's not true," Zara said, looking directly at Elena with her healing eyes. "Dr. Chen wants me here. His team wants me here. For the first time in my life, I'm somewhere that I'm actually wanted." Elena's expression turned desperate and mean. "Fine," she said. "But when this alien gets tired of your problems and sends you away, don't come crying back to me. You'll have nothing and no one." "She'll always have me," Dr. Chen said quietly, but his words were strong and sure. "And she'll always have a home with my team." As Elena realized she was losing this fight, she made one last cruel attempt to hurt Zara. "You think you're so special now because you can see," Elena said with a nasty smile. "But wait until this alien sees how much trouble you really are. Wait until he realizes what a burden you are. He'll abandon you just like everyone else." But this time, Elena's words didn't hurt Zara the way they used to. Because Zara could see Dr. Chen's face now, and she could see the truth in his eyes. He cared about her, really cared about her. "You're wrong," Zara said calmly. "Some people actually know how to love. Just because you don't doesn't mean no one else can." Elena stared at her for a long moment, and for the first time in Zara's memory, her stepmother had nothing mean to say back.